I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to probably say it 100 times, and then we're going to move on here. You have spent most of your lives, I talk about talent, you have spent most of your lives taking batteries of tests. The reason this became a bestseller was because it was a mistake. This was a mistake. This was designed to go out to help people that wanted to be in sales, professional salespeople, to sell more. I sold nothing to those guys. Nothing. You know who it appealed to? All those people out there that thought that were told they couldn't sell, that they were losers, that they didn't have the ability to sell, and they were terrified of talking to another person. Guess what? That's a much bigger market. Everybody understand? Yeah. Because everybody out there, I just read another book, great books out there. Not everybody can sell. You can't sell. You can't do this. Only certain people can sell. I say that's nonsense. Everybody, you were born to sell. Not everybody sells the same way. You have spent most of your life taking batteries of tests, telling you your strengths and what? Weaknesses. And what are you typically told when you get the results? Work on your what? Weaknesses. All right, now look to your right and left. Make sure everybody's awake. I want you to look up here. I want you to read my lips on this. This whole idea of trying to fix your weaknesses, I want you to look up here. That whole idea of trying to fix your weaknesses, that is a colossal waste of time. Look, how many people realize it's hard enough to figure out what you're good at? How many would agree? Yeah. Now, we all have skills we need to improve. But the key is finding what you're naturally good at and working that one to death. I had a great interview. I don't watch Oprah much, but I watched Oprah once when she had Tiger Woods on. And she said to him, don't you think you have an unfair advantage out there? This is when he was at the top of his game. She said, don't you think you have an unfair advantage out there? He goes, why? She goes, well, obviously you've got talent that other people don't have. He goes, no, it's a curse. What do you mean a curse? He goes, because I know I got the talent. He goes, I got to work harder than anybody else. He goes, I guarantee you, and he said it cold as steel, he goes, I guarantee you, I practice more than anybody else out there. He's improving on his strength. He's not trying to fix something he's chromosomically not programmed to do. There is a gigantic difference. Everybody understand? How many have heard of CIBC? You're in Canada, right? CIBC, one of my clients, okay? They call me a couple months ago. We want you to do a client etiquette program for our analysts. This is the investment bank, right? Now, everybody know what an analyst is? An investment bank? What are they? Yeah, they sit in front of a computer screen, they work numbers, they're geeks at some level. So, no offense, that's a fine term. And so, it's like, he says, I said, why do you want to do a client etiquette program? They go, well, because we take them to client meetings, and they're rude, their shirt tails are hanging out, they're chewing gum, they have a really bad attitude. I said, and we want you to teach them how to be polite and conduct themselves in a meeting. I go, why? Well, it's important. I said, why do you have them at client meetings? Well, they're part of the team. I understand, but they're analysts. You put them in a cage with a computer screen and throw them meat once in a while, and they'll be happy. They don't like people. That's why they love their data. Everybody understand? Does this make sense? And when you put an analyst in that environment, they're in heaven. Give them access and give them faster web access and give them more. They're chihuahuas, man. It's like we talk. Make sense? So the reason I'm getting a little off of it, but the reason I come back to this, the reason I say this is, again, in the context. And I will tell this story. If I told that story once, I'll tell it 1,000 times. Why? Because I'm trying to set the context that, in fact, the key to success is playing to your that it's okay to make mistakes. As a matter of fact, that's how you learn. There's not a ball player on planet Earth that's ever caught every pass, sunk every putt, scored every hoop, or broke every record every time they got down to the starting line. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? It's part of the process. No salesperson that's closed every deal. If they have, they haven't been doing enough deals. Got it? Got it. Learning requires what? Energy. Learning requires what? Energy. The other thing is, why do we have you do high fives? Energy. Good. Because what happens is every time so turn to somebody right now and give them a high five. Again, do it. Okay? Okay, good. So what just happened to the energy level of the room? Up. Up. And one rule of sales, highest energy wins. Highest energy what? Wins. Two people come together, person with highest energy generally wins. How many of you have children? Yeah. Their high energy is higher than yours. Who wins? They do. And the difference, and I tie it right back to the results model. I say that's why you got to be able to change your mindset. That's called little voice management. Boom. You got to be able to change it instantly. Boom. Get your energy up. Otherwise, your energy's down. I don't care how good your product is. You will never sell it. I don't care how good your program is. If your energy's not in the right place, you come dragging your butt into this room and your brain's every place else. If you can't switch it, I don't care how good your data is. How many know what I'm talking about? Yes? Who's my venture capital person? You best be congruent about what you're offering, right? If those guys, all they're looking for the chink in the armor, correct? They're looking for that one piece of hesitation in anything you say to say, nope, throwing that one out. Nope, nope, nope. Because like you said, they're looking to say no. Everybody understand, yes? Yeah. But if you can sell to that group, you can sell to anybody. Because then is it your business? You working for somebody else? Yeah. Yeah, you have equity in the company? Sweat equity? You looking to do your own business someday? Okay, good. So if she knows how to raise capital, and she decides to start her own business someday, is that going to be a valuable asset? Do you think other people would hire, if she knew how to raise $20 million by doing a 30-minute presentation, how many people would be willing to pay her a little piece to raise money for you? How many would? Yeah. Huge asset. So playing to the tough group ultimately makes you the biggest winner. Everybody understand, yes? Yes. Okay. The reason you do high fives raises the energy. The other reason is because of this. It's called a what's it called? State change. In other words, we operate in various states. We're going to cover this a little bit later too, some more. You have obviously a physical state. What's another one? Emotional. Huh? Mental. NLP basically concerns itself with those three. Now, there's a spiritual, we can say spiritual state, meditative state, all those, but I don't know that the evidence is in on those. But the one thing that we know about all this is very cool, is this. How many people here have ever dealt with somebody that was emotionally upset? Good. How many people have ever tried to talk them out of it? How many people have had minimal success? Okay, good. You know why? Because if they're emotionally upset, what state are they stuck in? And if you're trying to talk them out of it, what are you coming from? Mental. Very, very tough. Now, the cool thing that we know from the studies of neurolinguistics, the guys that actually originally studied, which was who? Grinder and Bandler, is and actually before him was Erickson, I believe, as well, is that what they found about the way the brain works is very, very interesting, the way we're wired up here, is that all of these are connected. Now, how many would gather that? Yes? That your mental self, your emotional self, your physical self are all wired together. Yes? Okay, good. Here's the cool thing. Turn to somebody and say, what's the cool thing?